Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Sunday.
It is. Before I forget, please remember the names in the prayer request bucket that we put out at our business events.
Mm-hmm. Today, Paul speaks to the crowd. This is part 1. Acts chapter 21, starting at verse 37. As Paul was about to be taken inside, he said to the commander, "May I have a word with you?" "Do you know Greek?" the commander asked. Surprised. "Aren't you the Egyptian who led a rebellion some time ago and took 4,000 members of the assassins out into the desert?" "No," Paul replied. "I am a Jew and a citizen of Tarsus in Cilicia, which is an important city. Please let me talk to these people." The commander agreed, so Paul stood on the stairs and motioned to the people to be quiet. Soon a deep silence enveloped the crowd, and he addressed them in their own language, Aramaic. And that starts chapter 22, verse 1. "Brothers and esteemed fathers," Paul said, "listen to me as I offer my defense." When they heard him speaking in their own language, the silence was even greater. Then Paul said, "I am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, and I was brought up and educated here in Jerusalem under Gamaliel. As a student, I was carefully trained in our Jewish laws and customs. I became very zealous to honor God in everything I did, just like all of you today. And I persecuted the followers of the way, hounding some to death, arresting both men and women, and throwing them in prison. The high priest and the whole council of elders can testify that this is so. For I received letters from them to your Jewish brothers in Damascus, authorizing me to bring the Christians from there to Jerusalem in chains to be punished." Now the commentary for part 1. By speaking in Greek, Paul showed that he was a cultured, educated man and not just a common rebel starting riots in the streets. The language grabbed the commander's attention and gave Paul protection and the opportunity to give his defense. The historian Josephus wrote of an Egyptian who had led a revolt of 4,000 people in Jerusalem in AD 54 and then had disappeared. The commander assumed Paul was this rebel. Paul was speaking in Aramaic, the common language among Palestinian Jews. He used Aramaic only to communicate in the language of the listeners, but also to show that he was a devout Jew and had respect for the Jewish laws and customs. Paul spoke Greek to the Roman officials and Aramaic to the Jews. Gamaliel was the most honored rabbi of the first century. He was well known and respected as an expert on religious law and as a voice of modernization. Acts chapter 5, verse 34. Paul was showing his credentials as a well-educated man trained under the most respected Jewish rabbi. By saying that at one time he was as zealous for God as any of his listeners, Paul was acknowledging their sincere motives behind the desire to kill him, pointing out that he had done the same to Christian leaders in a few years earlier. Paul always tried to establish common ground with his audience before launching into a full-scale defense of Christianity. When you witness for Christ, first identify yourself with your audience. They will be much more likely to listen if there is a common bond with you.
And I think my personal opinion is that's why we have to go through a lot of trials and things, is so that we can form a common bond with somebody else who's been through the same or is going through the same situation, so that we can have that bond to open the door to witness about Christ.
Well, it's very true. I mean, nobody, even ourselves, we don't really generally listen to somebody who is no experience or not like us in some common way. We just like, yeah, whatever, you're just talking and we move on, you know. But yeah, it kind of grabs us in when you say, well, yeah, I understand. I was there. I understand that, you know, I get it. Yeah. And that's what we say. So yeah, I get it. You know, I understand what you're going through and all this. And
it creates that commonality so that it opens up the conversation.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of the pain and hardships that we go through are forming bonds in the future that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, that's very true. I kind of wish, I really wish that I had come to Jesus sooner in my life as a construction worker,
Oh,
just because there was so many people in construction that need Christ. You know, I only kind of late in my very, very latter years of construction got to witness to anybody, you know.
yeah.
Because I faced the same struggles. We all face the same struggles in construction.
Yeah.
You know, the harsh weather and the harsh treatment and the hard work.
Yeah.
So.
See, when I worked for the government, it was a little different. We could lose our jobs if we mentioned it.
Yeah.
So it was a little tricky, you know.
Yeah.
It prevented a lot, but there were still times that you could work it in with creativity.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a way to witness if you let God control how it's done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not our creativity. It's God getting it done.
And being led by the Holy Spirit and just kind of taking His lead and just.
And allowing Him to lead you, not just feeling the calling and ignoring it.
Yeah. All right. Hope everybody has a glorious day. Here's Jasper Dog here. His face is in the video today, so hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.